How much are you earning with this 4-month contract guy?
It was $10 an hour.
$10 an hour.
So basically translate, depending on the number of days a month, because that's also a big factor that guys don't. There's some months like this February that has like 19 working days for some reason. Other months that have 22 working days.
Yeah.
So depending, it would come to like 190 to 200 and something thousand.
Give or take.
Yeah.
And how much were you earning?
What?
As a customer service supervisor, call center supervisor, when you're struggling with a role and you're open about you struggling with a particular role, instead of them telling you, please hand in your resignation letter, the first thing they thought was, can we move you to a different department, and gave you options.
Yeah.
Now, which local company is going to do that?
I cannot, for the life of me, thank any of the women I've worked with and men that I've worked with enough. Because the support, even the most mundane question they'll answer.
Nice.
It's crazy. Like, for me, I think that's the craziest thing. It's, I mean, for us who have worked here in Kenyan environments, you know how hard it is to ask your superior a question and for them to answer you without vitriol. Because it's always this type of, why don't you know what you're doing? Like, I hired you to...
Exactly.
Policies are different. Systems you're using are different from what I know. So, I think for me that was, those were... As in, I get overwhelmed sometimes because I keep telling... Like, every day I have a meeting. It's like, do you need anything? Do you need me to help you with anything? I'm just like...
Answer the question this way because you really know what you're earning in your 4-month contract.
Yeah.
How big of a jump is it?
It's not too bad. But it's also significant.
It's significant.
Significant, yeah.
Good.
On the 10th one, I was just like, you know what, that's a video. I'm not going to struggle again. I'm just going to hit send, and that's that. That was now at around like 6-ish p.m. when I hit send. 6 going to 7, honestly, if I'm being honest. When I hit send. So me, I'm just like, hey, fingers crossed I get this job because I genuinely really need it. I really need the job. So I close, I get ready for the kesha. Me, I go. Literally somewhere in between there, I hear my phone buzz. And I'm like, okay. I take it out and it's an email. I'll actually send you a screenshot of the email.
Yes. Yeah.
Because to this day, it's the only email. Like, I delete my emails, but that one is there because for me, it's such an answered prayer. Because at the time, I was just like, I wasn't even desperate, but I was just like, wow, it would be nice to have a job now. Because I'm just like, hey, times are going and I'm seeing the way things are going. So I hit send on the email. And then at the time, head of operations at the time gets back to me and says, I would like to showcase you to the clients. It didn't even take them, 6 hours for them to respond.
Really?
6 hours for them. Or just about 6-7 hours for them to respond and tell me that. And I was very taken aback by the fact that I'm like, I can imagine they're a global recruitment company.
Yes.
And they have so many other people everywhere applying for the same roles, the same job that I'm doing. So the fact that what I'm getting is, no, we're getting back to you. We're definitely going to showcase you to this client and more. Then you, I have the opportunity to take my pick. Like, I'm the one who gets to choose. It's like, wow, that's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So that's literally how it happened. That was Friday. Had the meeting with them, I believe, either Monday or Tuesday. No, I think it was Tuesday, actually. When I had the very first interview. Yeah, which was very nice. And she was just like, wow. Yeah, for sure, you're definitely going to get someone. Then that same week, someone got back to me and told me that there's a client who wants to meet me. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that's really nice. I was very confused because I was like, wait, why is everything moving so fast? I'm used to things taking their time when it comes to
I know, like 2 weeks, 1 week. Yeah.
So I have the interview with this client, explained to him what I've done, because the role was almost logistical as well. So he was also very interested in the experience that I had when I was with Spellcast. So interview with the guy, but of course there's always going to be someone better than you. So there's someone else who got the role. But I was just like, the fact that I even got the fact that I got this far yo.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. So of course, when the other guy chose someone else, I think that was a span of like a week and a half. By that Friday, they had set me up with another interview.
Nice.
Yeah. This one from the get-go, they had let me know it's a short contractual thing. It was just to help them clear out some things and put a bit of perspective to some things. So I was aware that it was going to be a short-term thing, and I was okay with it. That's the beauty. I was like, I'm
short-term
cool with it.
period being specific?
It was 4 months, but they extended it by 1 month.
Okay.
Just to make sure we finished everything up and whatnot. So, for that one now, it was such a quick
transition.
Yeah, because it was interview Friday, next Friday nimeanza kazi.
Wow.
That was how it was. Like I did the interview on Friday. By the next Friday, work had started.
Nice. I have to ask the money question. How much are you earning with this 4-month contract guy?
It was $10 an hour.
$10 an hour.
So basically translate, depending on the number of days a month, because that's also a big factor that guys don't. There's some months like this February that has like 19 working days for some reason. Other months that have 22 working days.
Yeah.
So depending, it would come to like 190 to 200 and something thousand.
Give or take.
Yeah.
And how much were you earning?
What?
As a customer service supervisor, call center supervisor. Because I think it's really important for people. The reason I'm always asking the money and why I don't gatekeep money is for people to know that is a jabber. It's actually possible for you to get paid what you're worth. Yeah. Yeah. So how much were you earning as a call center supervisor?
Do I say gross or net?
Please say gross.
Gross?
Because this other one is net. The 190, 200,000 is net.
Yeah. So I say, no, let me say net.
Okay, say net. Yeah.
Like 53,000.
53,000 net. Yeah. So
yeah. So it's a big jump, as you can see.
Yes. I was going to say, there you have it, guys.
It's such a big jump. Yeah.
But then it was 4 months. So,
yeah. So good thing is they knew, like they had already known after the 4 months what was gonna happen. And then now I think it's the part that shocked me more than anything, because I was like, okay, it's done. I guess we go back to now figuring out what to do with life after that.
Yeah.
Until first week of August, operations manager from Sagan reached out to me. Beginning of August, I believe it is. And she tells me, CEO would like to meet with you. And I'm like,
The CEO of the recruitment agency?
The recruitment agency wanted to meet with me.
Wow.
And me, I'm just like, It was very, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
This man wants to meet with me. Of course, at the time, because I had gotten the first job through them, I knew who this man was. I'm just like, hey. And you know, because I know they might end up watching this.
Yeah.
Honestly, he really did intimidate me.
Yeah.
But he's the sweetest, most bubbliest. Like, you think I'm bubbly? It's a lie. That man is way more bubbly than I am. So, we have the conversation with him. And he's like, I have this crazy idea of what I feel like you could do for us guys. And I understand if you feel like it's not your niche, give it 3 months at least to see if you're going to be able to, something that you could actually take and go with it. And that's literally how I found myself working in as the global talent ambassador for like 2.5 months, 3 months. Yeah.
Nice. I've got to ask. Did you ever ask the CEO why he thought that you could, why he thought you could take a chance with you? Because if I remember correctly, the other guy over at Spell also took a chance at you with you.
Crazy.
Yeah.
No,
so
I did ask him actually, and I asked him why did you see me and then think that I'd be like the picture perfect person to do this? And he mentioned that a lot of the times we have people only wanting to hire in like Philippines, Central America. If they go to Africa, like you said, it's always South Africa.
Yes.
So he was like, no. And then for him, having traveled the world as much as he has, he's seen that there's so much more talent aside from, just those areas that I've mentioned.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I want the world to know that there's more to Africa than just South Africa and whatnot. So he actually did tell me, like, one of the reasons I want to is because I want people to know that Kenya is also a place where they can get talent just as good in what they do. So he told me that was like, that's the reason why. And he's like, plus you're very personable, honestly. So I was like, okay, I don't mind. Like, I'll take up the challenge.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I found myself in for about 2.5 months, 3 months. Amazing working experience, amazing people to work with, such a cohesive team in how they do things, in how they even give such grace on explaining things to you. Yeah, so for me, I loved my 2.5 months, 3 months there, because then I ended up becoming very good friends with the operations manager, one of the sweetest people. I know you know her, so she's one of the sweetest people. A very big pioneer also in the space and hiring of Africans, because she's a champion for it.
Yes.
So
So what exactly, for someone who is watching and thinking, what does a global ambassador do? How did your day look like?
Oh, okay. So my day honestly consisted of mostly meetings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be genuine about it. Mostly meetings and just to strategize and put things together. Coming up with concepts for certain things and certain videos, because it's now marketing ourselves on a larger scale. Yeah, so that was basically, honestly, that was my days. Just spent my days in strategic meetings, strategizing things, and output of certain things, depending on what the output is for. So, like, because I know you know this, so in university, it's okay, we need to come up with a workshop for university, or like a school thing, like a course for university. So that's what most of the days were spent doing.
Do you feel like your experience as a social media manager actually played a part?
For this one, no. Yeah, because it was very, when you're a social media manager, you don't have to be in the forefront. I'm not used to cameras. I'm not used to doing things. Like, I know how to edit videos and do all, but I wasn't used to being in that particular spot. So I genuinely did find myself struggling.
It had a little to do with like content creation as well. So that is the bit that you struggled with.
That's because I am not, I genuinely, truly, if anyone goes to any of my platforms, you will see I am not a content creator, and it's fine. That is for other people. It is not for me, and I'm okay with admitting that it's not for me, So I really did struggle with that job. I'm not saying it was a bad one. I just realized over time that it's not for me. And I now had to sit down with the head of product, and we had a conversation about it. And I let them know that, look, it's not that I don't like this job, but when I find myself struggling, that's what's affecting my output, because I don't struggle with the things I love doing. It's like, the way you wake up in the morning, because one of the questions she asked me is, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning to come here? I told her, honestly, sometimes I feel like it's a struggle, because I feel like I'm letting you guys down, and it's not like I don't want to work. It's my brain isn't wired to do the things the way, like what social media managers and content creators do. So I'm finding it as a struggle, and I know for you guys is high output that you need.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm not the person for this. I had to be very forthcoming with it, because I felt like if I would have stayed in that position, they would have thought that I'm just not working, or I'm just being lazy, and I'm just like, that's not me. I know, I'm just like, that's
considering
not me.
the CEO felt like, you had what it takes.
Exactly. And so even just having that conversation with them, I think for me, the thing that kind of scared me the most is I didn't know how it was going to pan out. So I was a bit afraid. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know how it's going to be perceived. But they were very welcoming with it, if I may say. Like, they understood, like, it's actually good that you admitted that, because she ended up giving me stories of how there's a couple of people within the company who also moved around within a lot. And she was like, there's openings here and here. Do you want to try? And I'm like, honestly, no. Because they're just not my thing. I don't want to lie to you and then end up going there and then disappointing you again. So I would rather just not.
I think it's so important that we also emphasize this. That you went to your manager or head of product, when you're struggling with a role and you're open about you struggling with a particular role, instead of them telling you, please hand in your resignation letter, the first thing they thought was, can we move you to a different department, and gave you options. Now, which local company is going to do that?
None.
Yeah.
Very, very, very little. Very few of them are going to do that.
Right?
But yeah, that's, I think for me, that's a stark difference, because even when I was in this toxic work environment place, that was not an option. They were going to either let go of me or, I leave. So I had to make the decision to leave. They gave me that freedom of, you can actually go through, through a couple portfolios, a couple roles, and see what fits you and see if you can do that. Or we could alternatively look for something, a different place for you to go to. So,
because you're a top talent.
Imagine.
Because you're a top talent.
Me personally, that's a privilege. Like, because I'm just like, I am aware that these people who are better than me. I am fully aware. Let me not lie to you.
Yes.
I can't call this anything other than favor, because I can't like, there are days I sit down and I'm like, I can't explain. Like, it's not just like a one line, like, oh, I did A, B, C, D, that's what got me to E. No. I can't explain. So yeah. So it was a very interesting thing, because I never knew you could actually have honest conversations of that caliber. Like, that was, I think that was one of the first places I had very honest conversations of that caliber, where at the end of it all, the thing that the head of product told me was, oh, okay, no, I know who I'm going to place you with.
Another transition.
Yeah. And exactly another transition.
So before we proceed, if you are finding this entertaining, if you're finding this educational, I would want us to do a little bit of housekeeping. Give us a thumbs up, because that is how you communicate to us that you're finding this to be helpful. And I love feedback. So give us a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment down below. So far, what have you learned? What is that one thing that you've learned from Popo's story that you're going to implement in your day-to-day, even when you're looking for a remote job, or in your job at the moment, or if you're a student? What is the one thing that you have learned from this so far? So another transition, Popo. Where does this get you? Where does this land you?
Okay, so I think I'll just backtrack a bit into the conversation we had with head of product, because when I explained to her what I love doing, she was like, okay, I know where I'm gonna place you, I know I'm gonna recommend you to. So this lands me now in a transportation company, specifically for school districts in the USA.
For those of us who don't know school districts in the USA, could you please yes, please, bring it local.
Okay, so the school system, there's like the medical system here, where it's now each county deals with its own medical things right now. So that's the same thing they do with the school districts there. They're very localized, so each state has its own things of how they do things. Like there's a control part on the national level, but on the state level, there's also the things that they do for themselves, because rules there are very different. Like, you can go to one state, the rules here are that. The next state, the rules are totally different on so many levels. So basically what the company does is deal with transportation of school kids, but from vulnerable families. So it's broken families. Is mom or dad in jail? Is mom and dad consistently in and out of rehab? Is it that maybe mom and dad don't have stability of some sort, or maybe the school district hasn't fully solidified itself, so they don't have like bus transportation for the kids. So that's now where the company that I work for comes in. It's to now like kind of closing those gaps there in the middle, rather. So yeah.
That's to me, that's mind blowing, literally, because like when you told me of a transportation company in school district, in my mind, actually, if I tell you this, you guys will know where I stay. But in my mind, it is the yellow school buses, and your company is providing transportation for students. And I'm assuming, there are like routes to follow, and, you drop kids to schools and whatnot. And I'm thinking, how can that company, me in my limited belief, how can that company be remote and then hiring a Kenyan Popo to work for them? Like this just, and I want to be honest enough and vulnerable to say, because in my mind I've always, it's always you're working for a remote company. The remote company does not have any physical presence because it is fully remote as well. Yeah. But then now this throws like a wax in the spanner. Because if you can work for a transportation company, a logistics company in the US, can you imagine how many procurement professionals are out there? How many logistics professionals are out there? Warehousing professionals that are out there that you're not going to find. Most of those opportunities aren't that readily available in mainstream remote companies. So I'm so glad I met you.
I'm glad I decided to not scroll past your video on TikTok that day. I'm really glad I didn't.
Yeah. So I want to understand more, like, what exactly do you do for that company? What does a day-to-day look like?
Oh, okay. So I'm an operations coordinator for the company. For the I can't say some certain things. Sorry, I'm an operations coordinator for the company for a certain region.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing to do because we have operation coordinators per shift.
Okay.
Just because again, kids are transporting from like anywhere from like 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. So you can't have one person there the whole time. So we have to split. There's a coordinator for the morning hours up until midday. Then from then on up until 9:30 p.m. that's when I come on. Okay, from like 1 p.m. if I'm being honest, up until 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
That's when I come on. That's in the time zone EST. So yeah. So what does a day-to-day look like? It looks like,
what time does your day start?
In there it's 1 p.m. Here is 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Yeah. As of next week, Monday, it will be, because of daylight savings, it will be 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yeah.
By the way, daylight saving is another interesting story.
It's so sad. Me and tell you it's so sad.
If you guys don't know what daylight is, can you call me just daylight and then we'll give you a brief explanation of what that is.
Yeah.
But so your day starts at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Then what?
Yeah, so most days actually start with meetings. So depending on what the day is, there'll be a certain meeting because we have to have our teams meeting as the region, that I work for. And we have to have the team meeting as the whole
company.
No, not the whole company, but on the operation side of it.
It's like department.
And then Wednesdays are the only days at least I don't have any meetings. And then Thursdays I have my meeting with my manager. And then Fridays, all of us coordinators get together to discuss stuff and figure out how to make sure our things are running smoothly. So that's basically what most of my days start with. They always start with meetings aside from Wednesdays. So after the meeting now would be like opening up my email, opening up my, switching up my phone from my normal phone to now the phone for there. Opening up the text app that we use to make sure that we're communicating with people, just making sure that everything is in order, opening up the other CRM apps that we use for the kids routing and all of that and all of the whole shenanigans. So yeah, that is basically what my start of the day looks like. Of course, I think one of the things that I really like about this company is a lot of the drivers that we work with are they love kids as well. So it makes it easy to work with most of them. Again, most of them. Of course, there's no work environment that doesn't have headaches. Of people who just don't show up or don't say anything. Of course, it's receiving calls from angry parents. So it's like a mix of what I did with working at the call center, plus also now just doing other things in the background, other logistical things. Has the driver been paid right? The driver is saying that this isn't making sense. Or it's just a lot of
firefighting.
Oh my goodness. From when I sit down to when I say, nope, I need to take my break right now. Then I stand up and I'm like, wait, I haven't stood up since I sat down and it's like 2 a.m.
What?
Yeah. But it's work I love. Like, I genuinely love it. I think also the people I work with just make it so enjoyable. The bosses, oh my gosh. My superiors are the best people. I'm not even kidding when I say this. Those women and men are just absolutely amazing. You can approach them and have conversations with them in case something is happening and they see things are getting busy. They jump in like, okay, no, I'm here, let me help you, whatever you guys need help with. What is lagging behind? Do you guys need to check on something? You check on the routes. Are the routes all lined up? Oh, okay. Are you guys able to? Okay, that's someone hasn't shown up for a ride for like a kid who has special needs. What equipment do they need?
Wait, so
That's
I'm
the
really
daily, like a daily rundown, genuinely, of what happens on a daily.
I'm really curious, and please explain this to me as someone who knows nothing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will do my
so
best.
I'm going to try to equate it, and I know we've got followers from across the globe, yeah, but I'm going to try to equate it to the Nairobi, Kenya market. So a school bus is coming to pick my son, yeah, and let's say I'm going to be late 5-10 minutes. Then I call. The call lands to you, yeah. So it means that you have a number. You have
I do. I have a
so you have a US number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a
So
US
you got
number.
a US number. So I call, it comes to you. I let you know that today my baby is gonna be late. Yada yada.
Yeah.
You communicate with
the driver.
to the driver to grant me grace. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, you're monitoring the bus movement either through an app or
We have a CRM that we
CRM.
use to monitor all that movement. So that's basically what you do. And then one driver doesn't necessarily just have like one kid, so it's multiple kids. And then multiple kids going to different schools, not like the same school. Good thing is with how the school districts are set up in the States is like where we are right now. There could be a school down there, and that's the school that my child goes to. Or the school is like 5 minutes, 10 minutes away. That's the school that my child goes to.
Okay.
You see, now in Kenya, we have the culture of I'll pay a matatu or an Uber, or neighbor is going to the same school. Okay,
please ni bebe wangu.
So like, because that's a culture we have, it's very different from that culture there. There, first of all, you can barely walk in here. You have to have a car.
Okay.
So that's the same thing that you have to take around. Like these kids, even if they can walk home, most parents prefer that my child doesn't have to walk home.
Okay.
So if you can get them the cab service, let's get them the cab service. They go home. Yeah. So
interesting.
So you could literally have like kids who live like 8-10 minutes away from their homes. They can literally walk.
What are some of the challenges that you faced, let's say, in your month one at the job? Because I'm assuming I would be, if I were in your position, just the adjustment, first of all. Knowing different routes, learning, the CRM, and just getting my mind into that headspace that this is now what we do, or that this is what I do, would have been a challenge for me. What are some of the challenges that you experienced?
My first biggest one, at least I know and understand the mapping of Nairobi. So I can figure things out in Nairobi. It's now learning the mapping of the region that I work for. Hey!
So it's you and Google Map.
It's me and Google Maps, your best friends. At least now I'm getting a bit more,
hang of it.
A bit more. It's like now I'm understanding my region a lot more. So like, this person is going where? Okay, now I know which driver to call to go and, which driver has called out. Okay, let me call so and so.
So if you ever go to a certain region and you come in Takupigia and come here, please, nisaidie, nimekwama.
I think I can, I have a bit of a know-how. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so like now for me that was the biggest challenge, because then aside from just already learning the map of Kenya and Africa, now I'm delving into a map that, like, what America looks like. You see but you don't know what the inner workings. Hey, that country is huge. That's the first thing that went through my mind. That is really huge. So for me that was the biggest challenge. It's like, first let me grasp my region before I even move out to helping other people in their other regions.
Yes.
Let me first get a hold of mine, because it's so crazy, because now you're working with people who are like, just send this driver for these kids if they're in this region. I'm just like, how do you even know that? Until now you start working with the system a lot, when you're like, I see why for her that was the automatic thing for her to say, So for me that was the biggest challenge. Of course, then a close second, was now learning the routes of knowing which driver goes with which kids and why.
Yes.
How close do the drivers live to these kids for them to actually be, the drivers of those kids. So there's a lot of innings and outings for that, but slowly by slowly you get very acclimated to it. It becomes almost a second nature. Like now, one of my other colleagues from the other regions would very easily ask me, who do I need to send? I'm like, oh, check on so and so and see if they can, because it's not very second nature. Now I know what I'm doing. Hey, first month I was just like, first of all, barely gotten the CRM, but then you're not just using the CRM, you're using email as well. You have to be in chat as well. You have to be in the text app as well as you're figuring out things. When parents are texting, school districts are texting, teachers are texting, drivers are texting. Everything all at once.
But I think I love the fact that you're able to grant yourself some level of grace.
Yeah.
One. Yeah. And you understand that it is just this is not a demonstration of your performance.
Yeah.
You're in the learning curve.
Yeah.
And as long as you're able to learn and learn quickly, then you're good to go.
Yeah.
But I want to understand what kind of support did your company give? Because it's been what, Popo? How many months? Or has it been a year? Have you clocked a year?
6 months now.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's been 6 months now.
Nice.
So I was like, wait, I need to make sure I get it correct. It's been, or rather, it's almost 6 months. I know I clock 6 months next week. That much I know. That much I know. But yeah, it's been the best 6 months, honestly. Wait, December, January, February, March. Yeah, it's been the best 6 months. I had to make sure because I was like, wait, no, it doesn't sound right. But it's genuinely been the best 6 months of being in this place, working in this company. I cannot, for the life of me, thank any of the women I've worked with and men that I've worked with enough because the support, even the most mundane question they'll answer.
Nice.
It's crazy. Like for me, I think that's the craziest thing. It's, I mean, for us who have worked here in Kenyan environments, you know how hard it is to ask your superior a question and for them to answer you without vitriol. Because it's always this type of, why don't you know what you're doing? Like, I hired you to...
Exactly.
Policies are different. Systems you're using are different from what I know. So I think for me that was, those were, as in, I get overwhelmed sometimes because I keep telling, like every day I have a meeting. It's like, do you need anything? Do you need me to help you with anything? I'm just like...
That is your manager asking you, do you need anything?
Yes. Yes. Every day.
And have you struggled with that? Because the reason I'm asking this question is because I found myself struggling asking for help. Yeah. Especially in the Kenyan mindset and culture that we'll figure it out to Kombele. Yeah, like kasonge. I'll do it. Yeah. I'll do it. Yeah? Yet I found myself in an environment where they actually appreciated you asking for help.
Yeah.
And you saying, I don't know this. Yeah. It actually worked to my detriment when I tried to figure something out. I'm like, I can do. And then now you take so much time doing research while trying to, prove that you actually know this.
And there's someone
who's willing. Yeah. So is that just a me problem? Did you also experience that?
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
If anything, I think one of the reasons why I really appreciate my bosses is because when I was doing the very first initial interview, literally the first thing they told me even before they started, like, hi, tell us your name again, was if you have any questions, if you feel like you need to ask anything or get clarity on anything, ask. That was the very first, I'm not even kidding, very first thing these two women told me. And for me, I was just like, huh? Like, what?
And Are you sure?
Yeah, and then even through the interview process, they were so free and I was very confused. Because you can imagine, you sit down and then, hi, my name is so-and-so, I'm head of operations. Okay. And then sit down again on this other side, this other lady is also saying, hi, my name is so-and-so, I'm going to be hopefully your manager if and when you pass the interview. And then you have the interview and you're just like, wait, am I sure I'm actually having interview with head of operations and manager for said region? So
it's the ease of it.
It's the ease of it. And then even, of course, because of the type of work that we are doing, I had to take a test. It's another thing people normally, like, depending on what you're doing, you might need to take it. So I had to take a test. They had given me a cap of, I think, was it 36 hours to submit it. So submitted the test and I'm just like, hey, I don't know what I've done. I don't understand what's happening.
What is this test on?
So they give you a set of questions because, again, with what we're dealing with, very delicate. You need to be very quick on your feet on knowing who to send where, what, why. So it was just a mock test of if you were in a crunch and a kid has been left at school because of driver's negligence or just something that happened and now the ride is needed. What would you do? And then they give you a scenario of there's a driver, they already have 3 kids, so you need to map it out and figure out how to make sure that the kid is picked up and they're still, at least even if they're not on time, 10-minute grace period of, because that's what they give in the schools. It's 10 minutes from the time the bell rings. If you're not sat in class, they now officially mark you as late. That was the test.
So critical thinking.
Hey, critical thinking had to come in play. And then I remember when I was doing, because I was at my mom's place when I was doing that test. She's like, you are a whole team lead. You've had to critically think throughout your entire time of being team lead and supervisor. So you're fine, because I was panicking. It's like, hey, wow. Like, it was so crazy because I'm like, I know the answers.
So,
but my mind is just like, nope.
Self-doubt.
Self-doubt is such a big thing to overcome, and people don't talk about it enough, honestly. Because for me, I thought, hey, that one, it nearly knocked me out with this one, because I had I think 4 solutions in my book. I have a notebook where I just write everything. Actually, it got filled up, but it was like, no, it has to be, no, it's not that. So I was like,
because why were you second guessing yourself? Yet you had managed between 11 to 15 people in a call center.
Exactly. Imagine, I don't even understand why.
And prior to that, you were already a supervisor.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So I never understood why I was doubting myself. So I go through the entire interview process. And then I'm like, okay, cool. So I was like, I'll sleep and then wake up early and then send in, because I already had the answers. I literally had everything mapped out, screenshots even saved. I was like, that's how meticulous I am. Everything's saved. Yes. But when I wake up in the morning, it's just selecting, sending. That's what I did. So I woke up in the morning, I'm like, you know what? I have a bit more. I just needed to sleep. That's all I needed. I needed to sleep.
Yeah.
Slept, woke up, I was like, oh, let me send it. And I sent it. And then they set up a time for me to do, what is it called? A shadow. Doing a shadow of someone who does the work. And then I remember when I got into it, I was just like, I really have no idea what's happening here. Now it's like, what?
Hold up.
So I did the shadow session with one of the she's an operations specialist. So I did one of the shadow sessions with her. And she was like, honestly, such a nice session. You asked such important questions that I've never had anyone ask in any session I've had with them.
Nice.
So she's like, you know what? If you don't come on the team after I tell them I recommend you for the team, I'm going to quit. And I'm like, no, first of all, okay, we knew she was joking, but she was like the ones of, because I think they'll be making a mistake if they don't hire you. That was on a Tuesday. I remember they didn't pick the Monday because the Monday was a holiday. I was on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So then here we are now. I'm starting work on Friday. So Tuesday, Friday. So I signed my contract on Thursday.
Wow.
I sent it over on Wednesday. So it took me such a short time, less than 1.5 weeks, give or take. From the very first interview to now when I signed my contract and start work. Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah. It's so interesting.
Can I ask how much you're earning? Right now. I don't know. Okay, answer the question this way, because you already know what you're earning in your 4-month contract.
Yeah.
How big of a jump is it?
It's not too bad, but it's also significant.
It's significant.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I guess that's all we needed. It is significant.
It's quite significant, to be very honest. Yeah.
Okay. What, for someone who is out there, and not necessarily in logistics, because if you haven't watched part 1 of this, please go ahead and watch it. So Popo moved from, working in a hospital as a nutritionist, moved to, she's a singer, she's a BGV, I learned a new word today. BGV, background vocalist, worked at a call center as a supervisor. She's also worked as a social media manager, worked as a brand ambassador for a global company, and now she is operations coordinator for a transport company in the US. So for someone who is, thinking, I want to work remotely, and I'm not sure what I want to do, what do you tell them?
I think one of the things I'd say for that is you have a skill. Imagine, use it. Because for me, I hadn't realized or recognized how me having done whatever I did with spellcast, however mundane it looked, is what propelled me to where I am today. Everyone has a skill. Everyone has something that you're good at. Imagine, just hone it and use it for that. In whatever space you are in whatever capacity as well. Are you working on a project with your friends? Use your skill there. Put in your CV. Mom and dad have been asking you to do something consistently for like maybe a company or just biashara, something. Hone that, put it in your CV. Because I think one of the things we neglect a lot, and it's honestly because of the societal output of what you need to have on your CV for it to look dazzling and sparkling and whatnot, is we neglect even the small things that you do. Because for me, without my mom saying, 6 years, you spent your entire, adulthood up at that point when I applied for the job. In Spellcast, and you think it's not a job, and you get money from it, you get paid. Use it, So it's those small things that you might think are not important that truly are. I know of my fellow, like some guys who still decided to remain in the artistry scene, who've now blown up and become really big because they decided to use the experience and be like, I have this skill, I have this nini, let me use it then. A couple of guys who I still know in that same scene as well, who singer-songwriters are amazing at what they do, even if they still have office jobs or whatever profession they're in. Like, in case anyone didn't know, Kinoti is a whole lawyer. If you guys know who Kinoti is, he's a whole lawyer.
Oh, really?
He's a whole
I didn't know.
Exactly. And that's the thing I keep saying, like, he's been able to that, but it's also honing the skills that
with the way with his jokes, he's a lot.
He's a whole lawyer. Exactly.
Nice.
We have someone like the amazing Anna Lokanga. She signed, I believe, I don't know if she's still signed under Soul Generation, but she's also a whole lawyer. She dabbles in what is it called? Is it patenting or copyright stuff in Kenya and with Kenyan music? But you see how she used her skill, her skills, put them together that now made this big thing. I believe everyone has a skill, and you can always hone that to do something bigger and do something within your niche. Now, for me, my skill was always, I figured out how to put people A and B, put it together to make C. Like, for me, it has always been such a natural thing. So when I discovered, there's a name to it, it's called logistics. Okay, got me into my team lead role when I was at the call center. So it's the same thing. It's those things that I know I had the skill for that led me to where I am today. Additionally, I'd say give yourself time.
Yes.
I did not start with where I am today.
Yes.
It takes time. Guys, it's literally been a 10-year journey for me to be where I am today. And it takes a lot of resilience. You will cry, you will fail, you will pick yourself up. It takes time, it takes the works, and you need to be able to sit in that place where you realize it takes you time to be and get where you are. I think one of the things a lot of people do nowadays is they expect instant gratification where if I do this today, tomorrow I'll have it. No, it doesn't work that way. Time, let time be your best friend when it comes to such processes. Because 10 years to get where I am. 10 years.
10 years.
I think it's crazy. 10 years.
I know.
To get where I am today, guys. And this 10 years is, I also worked through uni. And I didn't even realize it was work at the time. At the time, I'm just like, I'm going to go sing. I'm excited to just sing. And then here we are 10 years later. Of course, still singing. But 10 years, guys. 10 years. It took me a lot of time. So if you're significantly younger and you're wondering, how am I going to get where this girl got right now? Give yourself time. You have time. Okay, like you don't, but at the same time you also do.
You do have time.
Yeah, you do have time though. Keep at it though. At the end of the day, Tajipa. That's what one I can honestly say.
Love it. Love it. What is one thing that you're appreciative of for this entire experience, right? And especially now that you have worked for 3 remote companies, you're working for your 3rd company. When you look back at your life, those 2 months that you quit your customer service supervisor role with no plan, and now, what are you appreciative of?
Ooh. Of course, you. Because without running into you, I never would have been here if I didn't take your video seriously that day. Oh my goodness. And then I think for me, it's just how God is so meticulous about certain things. Because I think we've had this conversation before. I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's anything like coincidence. I don't believe, because again, it's a whole algorithm. And if you guys know how TikTok works, you can follow someone and you will never see their videos until just one random day. And that's literally what happened with Lorraine. I'd been following her since, well, before I was in the previous company. And then I just saw her one random Friday on my FYP without having to search for her name, like beyond the savannah, and go through her videos.
Yeah.
That's, for me, that's one of the things I think about. It's just like the hand of God over my life and this journey has been crazy. Hey, that I can't overlook. The favor, most especially the grace. Yeah, that for me has just been like one of the things that I really appreciate in this journey and I've learned in this journey is you literally can be anyone.
True.
And you'll be plucked out to be someone. I know for you, it's also like sort of a similar story where like one day you just decided, I'm going to do this thing and here you are,
Yeah.
Another thing is the immense support I've gotten from the people around me. That when I say support, I'm not just talking about like financially, even just the encouragement of, you'll be fine, no, do it, you're scared. Why are you scared?
Yeah.
Then they end up even doing something for me. Like I have had such moments where my friends are just like, no, we're doing it together or they're doing it for you. We're not going to let you go. So for me, those moments have really just held me across this entire time. Of course, family, my parents, my siblings, a couple of cousins here and there. Those guys, biggest supporters by the way. I won't even lie to you. So just having such a community to also carry me through such situations has been, just very. It has helped me also learn the art of, like you said, giving yourself grace, and also in the same breath extending it to others, because we come from a society that does not do that. So
True. Guys, I want to get please comment down below what have you learned from this video, part 2 of it. If you haven't watched part 1, go ahead and watch it. We have posted it already. For me, I think what I've learned from your story, Popo, is one, of resilience, but most importantly is how quick you are at making decisions. Ooh. When you feel like something isn't right, you're like, nope, this ain't it. Let me move on. Let me look for something else. Yeah. And of course, that also comes from a point of privilege, knowing that, you've got a supporting community, people who can actually hold your back when you're not able to. Yeah. But it is that ability and that quick decision making, which I think is a skill that you're also using in your day to day, at your job, at your workplace. Yeah. At your job, at your workplace. Then the other thing for me is just how fearless you are.
Oh, wow. I feel like I have something to say about that, because truly, the people that we call fearless, those are the people with the most fear, because I cannot begin to tell you the number of times I have been crippled by fear. Like I even told you, even coming here today. Even just coming here today. Because I'm not used to talking about my story and the journey that I've had to go through to get where I am. I think the people who are termed as fearless are the people who are the most fearful. And I think, because you're not the first person to tell me that, but I'm just like, no, I know myself. The fear that, if fear could be described as a person from time to time, that would be me. It would really be me. But like, sometimes I'm just like, live and let live. Because I keep telling myself, if someone can have a similar or better journey, or pick something from, pick a page from my book and figure out, or maybe it's what I need to do, and then it helps them, then so be it.
Amazing. I know I'm getting out of here inspired. I hope you are too. So thank you so much, Popo, for accepting
always
and
always.
Graciously having you on our channel. Thank you so much. And like I said, let me know, guys, in the comment section, what is that one thing that you've learned? And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.